Hurricane Francine strikes the Louisiana coast as a Category 2 storm, leaving a trail of destruction. Hurricane-force winds, storm surges, and devastating floods impact the region, prompting mass evacuations and widespread power outages. Louisiana, September 11, 2024. Hurricane Francine made landfall in Louisiana on September 11, 2024, as a powerful Category 2 storm, bringing with it hurricane-force winds, storm surges, and catastrophic flooding to the region, leaving a trail of destruction in its wake. Francine, which had rapidly intensified in the Gulf of Mexico, reached sustained winds of 175 kilometers per hour at the time it made landfall near Cameron, Louisiana, around 6 p.m. Eastern Time. Authorities had issued mandatory evacuation orders for several coastal parishes, while President Joe Biden declared a state of emergency to facilitate federal response and release additional resources for victim assistance. "This is an extremely dangerous and potentially deadly hurricane," warned Ken Graham, director of the National Hurricane Center, hours before Francine impacted the coast. "We urge all residents in evacuation areas to get to safety immediately and follow the instructions of local authorities." Satellite and radar imagery showed a well-defined eye at the moment of impact, indicating that Francine maintained its strength as it moved inland. Wind gusts of up to 210 kilometers per hour were reported in some areas, uprooting centuries-old trees, downing power poles, and causing widespread damage to structures, including homes, businesses, and public buildings.
Want to boost your income effortlessly? There's a simple, little-known way to do it. Curious? Check the link in the description and see for yourself.
The storm surges, which were forecasted to reach heights of 3 to 5 meters, flooded coastal streets and penetrated several kilometers inland, leaving behind a desolate landscape of submerged houses, vehicles swept away by the current, and debris floating in the water. Some residents had to be rescued from their flooded homes by emergency crews using boats and amphibious vehicles. The torrential rains from Francine, which reached accumulations of up to 20 centimeters in some areas, triggered flash floods and overflowed rivers and streams, isolating entire communities and hindering rescue and assistance efforts. Authorities warned that flooding could extend to neighboring states of Mississippi and Alabama in the coming hours as the system moved northward. More than 500,000 customers were left without electricity in Louisiana, Mississippi, and Texas due to widespread damage to the electrical grid. Utility repair teams are working tirelessly to restore service, but outages are expected to last several days in some areas, especially in the hardest-hit regions. Federal and state emergency management agencies, along with nonprofit organizations and volunteers, have mobilized to provide assistance to affected communities. Shelters and distribution centers for essential supplies such as water, food, generators, and first aid kits have been established throughout the state, while search and rescue teams continue to work to reach isolated areas.
Breaking news. A revolutionary approach is allowing individuals to increase their income without additional work, already adopted by many. Click the link in the description to discover how you can start today and transform your financial future.
Our thoughts and prayers are with everyone affected by this devastating hurricane, said Louisiana Governor John Bel Edwards. We are working closely with our federal and local partners to ensure that help is provided to those in need and that recovery efforts begin as quickly as possible. As Francine weakens and moves north, meteorologists warn that heavy rains and flooding are still expected in the coming days. Residents in affected areas are urged to follow the instructions of authorities and remain in a safe place until all warnings are lifted and basic services are restored. For updated information on the response to Hurricane Francine and recovery efforts, subscribe to our news alerts and follow our social media channels. Together, we will overcome this challenge and rebuild stronger than ever, demonstrating the resilience and community spirit that characterize the people of Louisiana and the Gulf region.